I'm now going to do 8 nights at the Usher Hall in Edinburgh. Now, the Usher Hall's excellent, and Edinburgh is a good old town. I've played the Usher Hall before. I've done 12 nights there many years ago, but 8's plenty for now. It's an absolutely beautiful city, plenty of very, very grand architecture. Lots of monuments, lots of statues, lots of wide open spaces, which make it the most stunning city in Scotland without a doubt. Edinburgh here has always been a good live town. It's always had lots of live music, lots of good folk music, lots of poetry. Because of the festival, it really is the best festival on earth, the best festival I've ever experienced, and I've seen a few now. And there was a lovely time when the Fringe, which is the festival really, would come down to the Traverse Theatre, and it had a little courtyard. You would bring your show down, you would have a little trailer there, so you would come down and sing 2 songs from your show, and people would all have a look and decide which Fringe show they were going to go to. So we went down and sang a few songs, and people liked it. And we were standing in line, and 2 people behind us was Yehudi Menuhin, and it was raining, and he had his violin under his jacket, out of the case, under his jacket, keeping the rain off it. We're all standing there, waiting to do our turn. He stood in line like everybody else. 2 mimers went on after us, and then he went up and did his bit, brought the house down, and I thought, yeah, I like this is good. In Edinburgh, they have a rather spectacular way of telling the time. I don't know whether it's because they can't afford watches, or they just have a deep love of the spectacular, the royal, or maybe it's just because they have a love of the castle itself. But the good people of Edinburgh tend to line the streets of Princess Street. And so, and you can take it from me, it is exactly 1 o'clock. What's he doing, I hear you ask? I'm standing in the heart of Midlothian and I've just spat in it. It's a great old Scottish tradition. The heart, as you can see, I'm not the first either. This heart is situated right on the spot of the old toll booth and jail where people used to be hanged here in Edinburgh. There's a great old Edinburgh tradition to spit in the heart. This square is also the site of the old Scottish Parliament, which is given up to the Law Society now. But a spit at Parliament is never a bad idea in my book anyway. Hello. Hello, sir. This, behind me, was the old Scottish Parliament building. It's a stunningly beautiful building, inside and out. Beautiful windows, beautiful ceiling. You must go and have a look at it, especially because it's no longer the Parliament building. And the fewer parliaments, the fewer politicians, the fewer nationalists and the fewer patriots, the happier I become. It's now the highest court in the land, the Court of Session. On my right, we have St Giles Cathedral, a rather beautiful cathedral sitting in the same square right here in Edinburgh. Inside that cathedral, there's a statue to a man, John Knox. The statue used to be outside. John Knox almost single-handedly in the 16th century, conducted the Reformation, Scotland's greatest ever revolution, changing the entire country from a Catholic to a Protestant country. Why is his statue now inside? I don't know. His grave, you would imagine, would be a really imposing, impressive thing. I don't know, judge for yourself. It's right here. So Billy Connolly descended into hell. Some people call it Edinburgh. The whole place has been built clinging to the face of some incredibly steep hill. Edinburgh has one great attribute. You can walk in it. It's a wonderful city to walk around in. You won't believe what's underneath here. You'll never believe this. Where I'm standing right now, I'm directly underneath the city chambers in Edinburgh. Now this is a street, a close called Mary King Close. And this was sealed off in the 17th century because of the plague. They just sealed it off and let the people die in here. It's almost exactly as it was then. For instance, this is a ramp here that leads up to a slaughterhouse where animals were led up and killed, and the butchers is directly underneath it. People lived all over here. It's the most extraordinary place. Come and see the pub. Look at this. If you would imagine it were benches here with tallow candles on them, and this would be the fireplace over here. Look at this fireplace, it's brilliant. And this would be the community gathering place. They would drink claret and have oyster suppers because they were poor. Claret and oysters was very, very much within the grasp of the poor then in Edinburgh. I can just imagine this place rocking with laughter and song as people quaffed and claret and ate their oysters. This is great. This is the house of a comparatively wealthy merchant. He lived upstairs. This would have been the dining area. In here. Through here, in this part, would be the servants' quarters. But come and see this. This is the kitchen area. Right, you have the fireplace here and some cupboards here where they would have kept spices and all that kind of stuff. But just a couple of years ago, a Japanese medium came here and felt all sorts of vibes, and she said she saw a wee girl standing here with sores on her face and raggedy clothes from the days of the plague. And she was crying, apparently, the child, because she had lost her dolly. So the medium immediately ran out and bought her a doll and some sweets, some Edinburgh tablet, which is a kind of fudge, sugary stuff. And she brought it back, and they're still here. Look, there's a wee tartan dolly here and the tablet on the floor. So the wee ghostly person didn't have a sweet tooth at all, I don't think. And if people feel that this place is haunted and strange and spooky, this is where they feel it. I don't feel a thing, and I feel strangely disappointed. Let's get out of here just in case anybody turns up. This is a pub called the Waverly. It was the best of all the folky pubs when I first came through here. In there, there's a folk club upstairs, and it was a legendary place. And myself and two guys came through from Glasgow once to play it during the festival. We brought the instruments. So we went downstairs to the public bar and just played. And they loved it. We're all singing and stomping. They'd never heard bluegrass or old-time American before, these guys, I don't think. When we were almost finished, I nipped upstairs. I said, I'll go and see if the folk club's still open. And maybe it'll be a bit empty, they'll put us on. However, I went upstairs, and it was completely and absolutely empty. Not a soul, not a person, not a barman. So I nipped in, and there was a bottle of whiskey lying, so I stole it. And I went downstairs, and it was closing time. I lifted my banjo and the auto harp, and I'm going out the door, and the barman said, "Just a minute." I thought, oh God, I've been caught. And he said, "You were very good here," and he gave us a bottle of whiskey and a dozen cans of beer. Cans of beer. I was so embarrassed. I was trying to put the whiskey back again upstairs, but I didn't.